Greetings ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's Reddit Quickie video, taken from the HFY subreddit called Just Give Us a Reason, Please. Written by Communist Red. The link to the original will be down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Ambassador Zox stepped gingerly into the room with a weekly meeting. The Terran councillors were in their usual positions, some slumped on the table, others with their heads in their hands. One was snoring loudly in his seat, head thrown backwards. Another snoring noise emanated from below the long table. Zox cleared his throat. "Terran Council," he began hesitantly, "I know we are planning to delve into the history and science behind the amoeba grub farms used for the nutritional supplements in the fourth quadrant. But unfortunately, a more, pressing matter has come up." The councillors looked up at Zox blandly. "Well, here goes nothing. I regret to inform you that, a member of the Galactic Federation, the Draldian Collective, have, declared war on Terra and all her holdings." There were a few surprised blinks and grunts around the room. A snoring noise stopped. While the majority of the Federation tried to dissuade them, the Collective claims Terran infringement on their property, economic, and culture. They have invoked the inalienable right to conflict and are now beginning to mobilize war assets. The Collective are warlike and martial people, and it's unfortunately rather common for them to, bully the newer races with some sort of light genocide. Councillor Chen leaned forward, hands on the table. "A Federation race has, declared war on us," she whispered. "Unfortunately, yes." Zox didn't want to witness this. Were these shining eyes the tears that he had heard so much about? The gasping, the trembling arms, the wide eyes around the room spoke volumes. "Finally!" squeaked the Councillor Morton. "What? Finally! I didn't think the weaklings had it in them." He pulled out a sleek-looking phone and called a number on speed dial. "General, approve the defensive projects that we have on hold." "Which one?" "All of them, of course, yes. The attack projects, too. It's good for humanity." Around the room, similar scenes were playing out. "How many nukes did we keep after the disarmament?" "How well does napalm work in the methane atmosphere?" "Activate the sleeper agents in Zonix Beta." "No, not the children, obviously. Give them another year." "It's a super weapon we disguised as a planet still primed. Or did the orbit destabilize?" "It's more or less operational." "Crash the markets in Telexia." "Yes, the whole system." "No, pull our assets out first, obviously." "The Ultra MK 2.0 project working reliably yet?" "It's still experimental." "Time to experiment then." "Can we release the Scarthax into the food shipments in Porto too, without killing more than 50% of the civilian population, or should we wait a little?" "Isn't that against the Geneva Convention?" "Oh yeah, definitely." "Why? Has the Federation signed the Geneva Convention?" Zox blinked at all 6 of his eyes rapidly. What was going on? One of all the councillors was running in circles, screaming, "War! War! It's war!" over and over again. He turned his attention to the other councillors, hoping for some semblance of sanity. "Our supercruiser fleet will take a week to get light speed, but by day 3 you can't stop it without rewriting reality. I'll tell them to try figure it out before they need to break." "How early can we organize a preemptive strike for it to still technically be a preemptive strike, and not just a strike?" "I have activated our covert op Buccaneer fleets from Sector 6, 7, and 13. Apparently Sector 16 has been active for the last decade. Did you know about that? If we get the tungsten railguns firing now, we can be hitting homeworlds in just 23 years. Can we plant the Nova Apocalypse Matrix in their sun? No. If we want this to last longer than a day, let the others have their turn first, Grace. We've waited decades for this. What if we planted in their other sun? Just a warning shot." Zox slowly backed out of the room, trembling. Perhaps it was time to request a change of posting somewhere far, far away from the Draldian Collective, and even further away from humanity. To the first story. At What Cost? Written by LG Father Anthracite. Burgat was new to the support ship posting. He had retired from active military duty, but was still relatively young for a Zetchi. He had decided to join one of the human support ships, as it was similar to his military duty, and would allow him to continue to travel the stars and see new places. Support ships were a uniquely human thing. Galactically speaking, all species had emergency response services, but only humans operated outside of their home systems. Bourget had spent 30 cycles chasing rogue ships and pirates in the military, as he had thankfully lived in a relatively war-free time. He had enjoyed the camaraderie of the ship as well as the travel to new and interesting locations. After retiring, he signed on to the Human Support Ship Service to provide aid to those who were suffering from natural disasters, pirate raids, or areas of armed conflict. Bourget was in the mess hall just a few days out of port. He had collected a plate of vegetable and beef-flavored protein slabs and found an empty table to sit at. He had started to chew on the fibrous root vegetable when a couple of humans came over from the line and sat down at the table. "Hi, I'm Jones. This is Davis. Mind if we sit here?" The taller one asked. She indicated her shorter companion with a wave, and she sat with her tray down. The shorter human, a male if Berdrick was correct, also slid the tray onto the table with a nod. "By all means. I am Bourget. Pleased to make your acquaintance." The two humans sat in front of the trays and quickly started to eat. Bourget took another bite of the root and was chewing when Jones, around the mouthful of food, said, "So, did you just sign up for support, or did you transfer from another ship?" Bourget swallowed his food and replied, "I am new to HS3. He used the common acronym for the Human Support Ship Service. I retired from my homeworld's military, but did not yet wish to settle down." He nibbled on a piece of protein as Davis nodded approvingly, as Jones smiled and swallowed a mouthful of food. "Good to know. If there's any trouble, it's nice to know there's someone who can shoot as close by." The tall, brown-skinned woman replied, smiling broadly at Bourget before putting another forkful of pasta into her mouth. "Yeah, especially after the mess on Galvin," said Davis, a pink-skinned, muscular human. "I thought I was going to lose another arm." "What do you mean, another? You appear to have both upper limbs." Bourget was a little confused. Well, we got good replacements," David said. He grabbed the left forearm and the right and twisted it a few times. With each swivel, a little more of metal band and went all the way around his arm. With the last twist, the forelimb popped off and the 2 inches below the elbow. He flipped the now detached limb around a few times in his right hand, like a soldier fiddling with his rifle, and then twisting in opposite direction, reattaching it. "I see. This happened on a support mission?" Bourget asked. "Yeah, happens all the time. Earthquakes and other natural disasters. Lots of shifting sand and semi-collapsible buildings. It's pretty common in the HS3 staff. Jonesy here has 2 fake legs." Bourget looked at the female human. She gave a quick nod and swallowed the food in her mouth, and said, "I stepped on a landmine that got missed while we were providing humanitarian aid to refugees in Khitomer conflict. I might have claimed my original replacements were a little too short." She grinned with a quick glance and winked at Davis, who chuckled as he poked out his salad. "When did this happen?" Bourget asked, having set down his plenched and eating utensil. His antennae were unusually still, but neither of his new companions had picked up on the Zetchki's behavioral change, being relatively unfamiliar with the giant ant-like race. "I lost my arm a few months back," Davis said, spearing a tomato with his fork and then popping it into his mouth. "I lost my legs about 3 years ago," Jones replied, twirling the pasta around a fork. "Why'd you ask?" Bourget was unsure of how to respond. He had been in the Zetchki space fleet for a long time and never suffered a single injury. He was a front-line infantry soldier and had personally led the charge on numerous boardings and raids. Personal armor and shields had saved his life and limbs more than once. The idea of losing a limb was not foreign to him. He had seen such things happen. What puzzled him was that the humans seemed almost proud of losing their limbs. He told his new companions as much, and they asked, "Why are you not bothered by the loss?" Davis set down his fork and Jones wiped her mouth with a napkin. "Bourget, this is the support service ship. Everyone here is a volunteer. We get paid, but no one was conscripted, no one was forced to sign up. When I go into the field, I go to help people. Human, Zechki, perfect, it doesn't matter. We help people. I don't think about how I lost my legs. I think about how small children of the refugee camp, who are playing in the same field, who still have their legs. I think of all the families who won't have to bury their young. I think of the people that I helped. Davis pulled a small photo from his wallet and handed it to Birgit. It was a small, ferret teenager. She graduates primary education next month. She's going to be a doctor. I pulled her out of a collapsing building before the plaster slab shifted and caught my arm. She will spend the rest of her life healing the sick and injured. I saved her. I kept her alive. I did that. You fought against pirates to keep people safe, to free slaves. You made a difference in lives as well. You know that, right? Jones asked. I do take pride in my service to my people, Birgit confirmed. We do as well. We keep doing this because to not do it would be too much of a price to pay for our own safety, Jones said. The future of all the lives you saved, Birgit said, thinking he understood. There's that, and it's definitely a huge motivator, Davis said, as he tucked away his wallet, having replaced the photo. But it would also cost something else. It's kind of hard to explain, but look at it this way. Could you walk down the street on your hometown and walk past a collapsed Zechki child without stopping to help or call for aid? No, of course not, Birgit said. Well, we don't want to see that with anyone else suffer either. We have a word for it, but it doesn't translate properly. It means to do the right thing, even when it's potentially dangerous or threatening to do. The reason you do this, even the risk your own life and limb, because to not do so would cost you. I'm curious. What is this word? What would you lose? Our humanity. End of part 2. And that, my friends, is the end of this Reddit Quickie. I hope that you enjoyed. If you'd like to support this channel, there are numerous ways to do so, listed in the description down below. The easiest and best way would be to share this video and my channel as much as possible. I'll see you all in the next video, and I hope that you have a good one until then. Cheers.